morning or afternoon. I have no clue anymore. So my problem is that I'm on the road every single week, and I'm across the country, and so this is my typical week where I've been on both the West Coast and the East Coast on the same week, and I actually live in Utah on the weekend. So my name's Adam. So I'm always hungry. I never know when to sleep because I don't know what time zone I'm in. Same with staying in a Hilton every night. You wake up and you don't know what city you're in. But so I work for Protivity. We're one of the sponsors here of this great conference. I've done probably five BSides this year across the country. First off, hats off to you guys here in Philly. I know this is your first year, but this is actually one of the better BSides I've been to this year, especially for our first year. So, at the end of the day, what do administrators really want to do? We really have two goals and purpose in life as administrators. The first one is to give the finger to the pen testers. Ugh. The second thing that we want to do in life, as every sysadmin wants to do, is to get hugs from auditors. Yes, hugs from auditors. I have literally gotten hugs from auditors as a sysadmin. So we're going to kind of split this into two acts. First, we're going to talk about what are the trends in Active Directory and in identity management. And the second is, we're going to talk about why people suck at it. So the first question is, why do companies even use Active Directory? There's so many other great identity management platforms out there. Think of why we use Active Directory. It's actually not as horrible as everyone says it is. It does a lot of different things. It's not like OpenLDAP that just handles authentication and authorization. It handles configuration management with group policies. It's flexible. It's easy for me to make Active Directory do more things than just what comes out of the box. It's actually pretty flexible. So we have this problem now. We have Active Directory now, and over the last decade, we've seen all these cloud applications pop up. Now, I used to be a director of InfoSec for an organization, and at that organization, our help desk, it would take them 2 hours for every time a person was hired or a person was fired because they had 50 different identities that they would have to create for one user. And as I've been working with Fortune 500 companies, this is not a moot case. This is very common that a single person could have 100 different identities through all these different applications. Now, we are doing the solution to this is we're trying to merge our identities together and have Active Directory become the authenticator for all these different applications, so we don't have to create all these separate identities. But we still have to worry about provisioning, and how do I provision these applications? And more importantly, how do we keep all of these attributes in sync between all these different applications? So, for example, what your first name is and what your last name is Active Directory the most informed source of that information? No. Most information in Active Directory, the most reliable source is not Active Directory. So, for example, your first and last name, the most reliable source for your first and last name is usually in an HR system. Same with your email address. Your phone number, that's probably in a phone system, not in the HR system. So we have all this attribute information about a user, but how do we keep it all in sync together? This is one of the major problems that we see is, hey, Bob in accounting just he got promoted and now works over in procurement. So when people change jobs, how do you make sure that their access follows with them if your Active Directory is not current? So you have to create a system that all your attribute informations about your users are synced together. The approach that we tried to take years ago is we create all these different links. So we take our Active Directory, we sync it with our HR system, but the trend today is putting everything into Active Directory. And notice these arrows are not one-way arrows. These arrows are two-way arrows. So for example, your phone number in the phone system is written into Active Directory, and then from the Active Directory server, there's a service that writes the phone number, the correct phone number, back to the HR system. So you have this convergence of attribute information. And remember, we're going to keep talking about the importance of attribute information. It's very important. So how do you do this? How do you sync all this data together? Pretty much your most popular solutions today is through PowerShell scripts that you write. A lot of big organizations, small organizations, just write a whole bunch of PowerShell scripts that just takes a nightly CSV file off of a system, imports it in, and it's just doing it through scripts. The other popular systems are solutions from Okta to Ping Identity to Microsoft Azure Active Directory, which is also a very interesting use case, and we're starting to see a lot of changes because of Azure Active Directory. So what I did at my last job is we had all of these applications. We had like 50 different applications. And so we created a portal using, this is Okta, but I've done this with other applications, so that all they have to do is they just go to a web portal and then they click the application they want.
Hi folks, Iron Geek here. Unfortunately, we had a video problem with OBS and it decided to stop recording audio for the rest of this particular talk. Sorry for the inconvenience.